Hey, guys are here with Total Geek Live, here with Baltimore, Danny and Guy, bringing you, our lovely viewers, our next installment of Cana Geek. Woo!
Woo!
The big C. Oh, wait. It was reversed. Anyway.
It's the thought that counts.
It is. So, we've talked about malls and movie rentals, store locations. We've talked about movie theaters. Now, we bring you the most dreaded topic of all.
Uh-huh.
Aha. The dreaded.
Oh, that too.
Yes. Did you know that Corsicana has been home to a number of horror films dating all the way back to the 1990s?
And not just my childhood.
The ancient times.
Right? Yeah, the ancient times.
Back in the olden days.
Yeah.
In 1990, The Dreaded, a vampire classic, was released. A few good folks got together. It was written by Chris Robinson and David Blessing and James Willis.
What's she talking about, Willis?
Directed by Chris Robinson. Music by Paul Peckett.
Peacock?
Peacock. And cinematography by Lloyd Huffman. Do you remember Lloyd?
Yeah.
Well, I remember him too. I got a chance to sit and talk with him back when they were refurbishing the Palace. And I was he helped me when I was doing Sarah and the Starfish. He helped me set it up and run that premiere. But
right on.
We're not talking about starfish. We're talking about vampires here.
Vampire starfish, you mean?
Yes, this lovely horror classic tells the age-old tale of a new guy moving into town and dead bodies stacking up and librarians falling in love with vampires. Sorry,
Yeah, your movie's craft.
Yeah, my movies are all over the place.
Don't be crude about the life impaired. Mark's watching.
So,
We lost Danny.
No, I'm here. Yeah. So, a down on his luck vampire from the big city of Dallas moves to small town Corsicana, and
That's more like a sitcom than a horror movie.
right? Days go by.
Watch.
I mean, nights go by.
Let's see TV.
Yeah.
oh, that's a sitcom I could sink my teeth into.
Ah.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway, so I saw this movie years ago, and recently rewatched it, as we all have had in preparation of this special episode of Cana Geek, because we all wanted to talk about it again. I know Baltimore here had some personal involvement, or at least his family did, in the filming of The Dreaded.
Yes.
It starred his mother's car.
Where was that at? What scene?
That's the real estate guy who's driving the blue Mercedes.
Yeah.
That's my mom's blue Mercedes.
Oh, okay.
That was a classic car scene in cinema.
It was weirdly featured. Yeah.
and then his sister. So, do you want to talk? Do you have any stories to share from this time? Do you remember much at all during the filming? Were you involved in anything?
I tried out for it. I know. I was with Michael Ross. We tried out at the same time-ish. I did not get in it. But also, I was kind of too young for what they were wanting.
Right.
Like, age-wise, and there wasn't anything there. It's like, okay. But my sister got cast as one of the girls who ends up dying.
What?
Yeah. So she's in the film, and it was kind of fun. It was certainly, her first experience working on a film. I think she was like 17 or 18 at the time when they were filming it. I remember she said she had a lot of fun on set, but it was a lot of waiting. And then I remember her saying that her audition was just her screaming.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can tell, she did that one pretty well. And then, so she had probably one of the most featured deaths in the film.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly interesting. And I remember her talking about it. She wouldn't tell mother or dad about what actually happened because she didn't want them to know until they actually saw the film. But and I think my dad may have found out, but I can't remember. But I do remember that she told me, she's like, yeah, they cracked my neck. And then I think she had like a blood capsule or something in her mouth, and she had to bite down. And like,
ketchup, I think it was a ketchup packet.
It could have been. But she said it was a lot of fun. She said it was definitely interesting. But I tell you, when I was watching this, I do not remember her sounding so hick, so country. She has
right?
such an accent. Like, that's not at all what I remember her sounding like, or what she sounds like now.
Was she doing an accent for her role?
No, I really don't think so.
Oh, wow.
And that's the thing. Like, I remember seeing a home video, maybe about 9 or 10 years ago, of my mother back in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And she had a really pronounced accent. I was like, I just couldn't remember her sounding so, country. I didn't remember sounding so Southern accent that I didn't realize it was so pronounced. So it was kind of weird, kind of like, okay, yeah, I guess back then we really kind of did. We just didn't, hear it from a present perspective.
Right.
But the alleyway that has the 2 dead girls,
yes,
sort of the very beginning, is right behind my dad's old store. So the night they filmed that, my dad and I stayed and watched them do it, and kind of hung out and was, kind of a part of that behind the scenes of it. So that was kind of cool and interesting to kind of get to see that. And that area was not safe whatsoever. Like, there was, for real, like, they need to put some things down because there's broken glass and nails and everything all around there.
Wow.
But it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to see that.
Well,
so did your
still there? Or?
Yeah, yeah.
What was that? Just leave the bodies back there? Or?
Yeah. They fit in.
Did your sister start acting like a diva after all the filming was done and everything? She just let all the stardom go to her head?
Well, you also have to remember, at that time, she didn't like me.
Okay.
That was that time period.
And she does now?
Surprisingly.
Okay. All right.
No, but like, she had her thing going on, and I was the younger kid brother who was annoying. And now I'm still the younger kid brother, but, maybe a little bit less. But I don't really remember her having an attitude or anything like that. I do remember when we saw it in the theater, my mother was not happy with her death scene. She did not like that. She was like, not having it. But I thought it was cool. I was like,
yeah. Can we rewind that, please?
Yeah.
I did just rewatch that, and then I rewound it and watched it again. I was like, it's fun.
Well, one of the things you were talking about, the locations, being by your dad, the old location of your dad's store. That's one of the cool things about this movie, though. When you're watching it now, it's such a time capsule of Corsicana
yeah.
at that time. It's like
It really is.
because you see some of the College Park Mall, you see Movieland, you see the Cinemark 4, all things
Yep.
we've discussed on this show. You know, if you want to see it and you weren't there, watch the dreaded. You know, you'll get to see the library. Back when they had all the pull cards and you had to use the Dewey Decimal System to find
Yeah.
the card, you know, where your book was. I mean, such an archaic system, but it worked.
Right.
It's the Dewey Decimal System.
Oh, me and Dewey, we're tight. Watching it, you see the Corsicana police station.
Yep.
And then Mill's place, which is all the
houses.
Yeah, the big fancy houses all down that street.
Mm-hmm.
So
and you get to see the backyard of one of them.
Yeah, and a pool.
Yeah, pool and they had the side house with the basement. That was wild. I'm like, whoa, basement in Corsicana?
Was it, or was it just tricky editing and it made it look like
it? Yeah, because when they were coming down the stairs, I don't know.
Could be.
But that,
and then one of my dad's employees, longtime employee, Harry McCord, played the butler to the Dallas Vampire guy.
Okay.
And Harry did a lot of stuff at the warehouse as well. So he did a lot of plays and a lot of acting that way. And then John McAdams was in it too.
Yeah.
John McAdams was great. Actually, he was really, really good in this. I really enjoyed kind of seeing him again. I was like, wow.
What part did he play?
He
played the commissioner or something.
No, he was the sheriff. He was the police guy that came in later on in the movie.
Oh, okay.
That was like, damn it, you didn't have the probable cause.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he definitely was one of the stronger performances in the show.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he's just such a strong actor, which I can attest to. I've had the honor to share the stage with him a number of times. And just great guy, great actor all around.
So, Guy and I definitely want to talk about vampires eating salad.
Yeah, what's up with that? He's like,
what? You don't think they're vegetarians?
No. Well, Banicula was, I guess. He drained all the juice.
Yeah, all the carrot juice. Yeah.
That's about the only reference I know for vegetable draining vampires. A vampire bunny.
It's vampire bunny.
There's not much to work with. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's like, he's sitting there eating, and it's like every depiction of vampires I've ever seen, it's like, man, they just can't do food. Their digestive system doesn't work. They're dead.
Right.
Vampires don't poo.
And newsflash.
Here's your life tip that you've learned from this episode of Cana Geek. Vampires don't poo. But it's like it was an interesting little scene. There were a lot of candles in that. But as I said, I was watching it, and I mean, as I said, I got that nostalgic tingle about Movieland, the College Park Mall, and all that stuff. But it really seemed like movies of the late 80s, early 90s really followed that kind of like formula. Everything from the music to the slow-mo cuts to the weird dramatic angles and the way they did motions and things like that. It's like something to see off like UPN or something. Like
you had to show a car pull up to the location they're going to.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah,
because you're setting the scene.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was like one of those horror anthologies, like Friday the 13th or Twilight Zone or something like that. So I think they caught for that time period that way of doing horror films accurately.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly they do them very differently now, but they didn't spare on the blood at the end, which I thought was kind of fun. They definitely that one little scene at the end where the lead vampire dies and he just kind of leaves a nice streaky smear all the way down the pool as he's going down. So I was like, good job, makeup department, because
that was a good touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad they did it, because that's your everything's leading up to that. You better have a payoff.
Right.
And and for a low budget film, I feel like they really, really did. I thought it was great. I mean, I was actually impressed with a little bit of the special effects that they had.
Now, was he using the coffin that the vampire slept in? Was that the same coffin that they put Spock in and shot him out of the photon tubes? And
it looked very similar to it. Yeah, because rewatching this, I thought he was a space vampire.
Yeah, because of the way the coffin was shaped. Like, that's very reminiscent of Spock's coffin.
I mean, there was, in the 80s, there was a movie about a space vampire. I can't even remember the name of it off the top of my head, but I can see the film cover. But I don't know if she had a coffin like that. But I know, Kaiser, I had the same thought as you. I do find it very amusing that the time when the police officer goes to the house to interview the vampire dude, and the butler says one moment and all that, and he goes to get him, and you hear the machine, because the viewer needs to hear and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then he's like, boom! Then you hear piano music. It's like, dang, he's butt naked in that thing, right? Because that's what we find out later on.
Right.
In it. So he's a fast dude. He got dressed.
Ladies.
And then hightails it all the way to the piano player and starts. If you go back and listen, it's like he had 2 seconds.
His coffin's like a music box. You open it, and music plays.
And music comes out.
Music comes out.
No, he's over there playing the piano, man. It was crazy. It was this, it was like, oh wow, dang, he's fast for a vampire. I mean, he's like fast.
Yeah.
So did anybody else? Another thing about watching this was remembering that, oh my God, that's my teacher, Lisa, Miss Lisa. Lisa Watts was one of the main people in this. Yeah, and she was my 8th grade English teacher. Yeah, she plays a librarian. Yeah, my 8th grade English teacher.
Yeah, she taught me drama in 9th grade. It was in her class.
Yeah, totally wild. That I had kind of forgotten about that whole connection and who she was and all that until I saw it again.
I know that lady.
Yeah, I'm going, man, what?
But the vampires were totally cool with going outside in the day. At least that's the impression I got towards the end.
But so there's the scene where the police officer, Todd Jones' character, what's his name? It's here, Mark Stovall. So when Officer Mark is looking out the window at something, the light hits the vampire behind him,
dude,
and he's burnt, and he has to walk off. But yet there's scenes later where he's like macking down with your teacher, right? And they're in a room where there's obviously no covers over the windows.
Yeah,
and
I saw
he was perfectly fine.
Right. So maybe when
screen in those moments,
I guess.
Or maybe it's when his hormones are kind of getting revved up and everything. It builds a little bit of protection, and so he's not so susceptible.
Science, yeah.
Yeah, science. But then
Yeah, I know when I'm aroused outside, I never get a sunburn. Science.
I did laugh when the vampire did get aroused and like he did that fang thing, so it was like he got like a fang boner. And he had to like walk away. I know that's not what's supposed to happen, but I did that anyway. And it wasn't anything about the performance because I've seen that happen to vampire movies too. It's just that
I'm writing that down. We got a new word.
I've seen that in so many vampire films, though, and I think even like True Blood and things like that, where like they'll make out and all of a sudden they get that weird fang bone. And then they hold on, I have to go.
I need a cold shower.
Yeah,
Margaret Thatcher's cold shower. Margaret Thatcher's a cold shower.
I need to go. Cuisinart. That's not even a sentence.
Yeah.
So let's. The ending did seem a little open-ended. Do you think there is room for a dreaded cinematic universe?
You know, there's several characters that we can follow here.
The small thing of Richland Chambers Lake, yes?
yes.
Big one.
We could totally do that.
Oh yeah.
Maybe some zombies from the
20 zombie movies that were filmed here.
right. Oh, do they already use the cemetery over by Jester Park or whatever?
You know what? I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've watched Element 245. I can't remember if they filmed over there or not.
Okay.
I have to say that trailer was. I felt like it didn't sell me the movie that I thought it was going to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For
Element 245?
Oh, 245. Yeah. So did you want to talk about that real quick? So, while The Dreaded is probably one of the earlier representations we have of a horror film filmed here, back in 2011, 2010, 2011, Paul McConnell wrote and directed a movie, Element 245 Zombie here, with, I believe, cinematography and editing done by Randall Tykala. It was a zombie flick with a special agent who's immune to the zombie virus, so he's very adept at the zombie killing. You know, he could go in and take care of it, and, you know, no harm, no foul. It was there was a really cool red carpet premiere that they had at the Movie Bowl Grill here. It was Schumann's, Schumann's Movie Bowl Grill. They did. I caught a screening of it at the Cook Center on the planetarium screen, which was really cool. I designed the posters. The printing didn't come out. It was a little dark, but I designed the posters that you saw around.
Oh, very nice.
Small town, big problem. And actually, I did it as kind of a fan thing because I was like, "Oh, they're filming a zombie movie here. That's really cool." I wasn't trying to get involved or anything, but I was bored one day and I was like, "Oh." So I did like a little logo and movie poster thing, and I sent it to Randall, and he sent it to Paul McConnell, and he was like, "Dude, that's awesome! Can we use that?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I recreated it high res and everything, and
that's awesome.
So you're saying that have you seen the full movie?
No, not yet, because I didn't get a chance to see the full movie. But my thoughts when I heard people talk about it and kind of like that anecdotal stuff that I've heard didn't fit in with what the trailer showed me, I guess. So I felt like a different movie. I was like, I thought this was supposed to be something else, and then I was like, okay. Not in a negative way, just I was expecting something else, and the trailer, you know, I guess took a left turn in my vision.
Gotcha. Yeah, Element 245 Zombie was shot here. Colton Ogburn did a series called Undergo that's very well shot. I'll have a link in the description so you can check out his series. Really talented kid from here. He just went up, I believe, to UNT studying film, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So he's definitely a guy to watch. I think I see big things in his future. If you watch the Undergo stuff, it's like, man, this is, you know, some high school kid shot this, you know. Very well done. Kid's got an eye.
Right on. And we got Fat Ass Zombies. That was a recent one.
I did try to submit for that when they were doing open auditions. I don't think it was working with my scheduling, but I wanted to reprise the zombie role again. So
yeah, because you not only in Pirates of the Caribbean, but in All Saints Day,
All Souls Day,
All Souls Day,
yes. Guy got to kill Danny Trejo.
I did get to eat Danny Trejo. He was delicious.
Spicy.
Really nice guy though. But yeah, it's interesting work. I don't want to talk too much about that because I want to stay on the Corsicana stuff. But it is fun being a zombie because I mean there's a lot of different ways. Either it's like costume
Right.
masks and padding, or they'll do like makeup effects all over your face. And I did both. And then I think the most fun from the shoot outside of tromping around as a zombie all night long at this place in Melody Ranch was like whenever I'd be done and I'd get out of costume, I still had like fake blood seeped everywhere. So I remember driving through LA and I was stopped at a 7-Eleven, picked up like a Coke and something to eat, and I plunked my hands down and my hands were all bloody. And like I left blood marks on the counter, and the guy was like looking at me, and I had like blood around my eyes and my face, and like bloody handle on my door and everything. I was like, it was a movie, and I guess just L.A. He accepted it. So,
Right.
Right.
but
It's
zombie movies are
Tuesday.
fun.
Yeah, when they were filming Fat Ass Zombies, I don't think it's come out yet. I think they're still editing and doing pickups right now.
Okay.
But they closed down downtown Corsicana. They staged this whole, car wreck scene. They had cars upside down and piled on top of each other, and
Oh wow.
had a lot of people come out and dress up as zombies and shoot their scene. If you watch the trailer, I believe you can see a clip of that. You get a high shot of all the
Oh
zombies
nice.
kind of coming out with the wrecked cars and everything. So
Mm.
yeah, they went
Uh,
all out with Fat Ass Zombies, filming here in town. It's very Corsicana centric. It's mentioned, they're here and what they're
Yeah.
doing and everything, and then um, Undying was
Yep.
Danny the other one. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got one. Yeah, called Undying. They did some shooting at the Corsicana Opry and Roy's Cafe, um,
Nice.
and then one called Bologna, spelled Bollonie. I didn't
Oh, yeah.
really.
Tony.
My
What's his
baloney
first
does
name?
not. That's not my baloney's first name, but yeah.
Or its
Um,
last name.
And then one I found really interesting was a film recently called Warning Shot that was just this past January was shown at the Sundance Film Festival.
Yeah, that's
Oh
not
wow.
that wasn't the horror one, right? That's just it was
Right. It was a thriller, suspense thriller um, type movie. Yeah,
Oh,
not a whole lot of gore and all that kind of stuff, but just the fact that something was seen shot in Corsicana, shown up at at a film festival like Sundance is
Cool
pretty
feeling.
pretty darn cool.
Yeah, because non-horror stuff's been shot here too. Like Scott Honey wrote and directed "Believe You Me," which
Yes.
starred.
I've got it on DVD.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah.
strong little dramatic piece. Julie Mitchell does an amazing performance in that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and Corsicana's popped up in some major cinema masterpieces. You could see a Collins Street Bakery 10 in, was it The Godfather or Godfather 2?
Uh,
In one of
yeah,
the Godfathers.
it was one of the Godfather
Yeah,
movies,
you can
right?
see the Corsicana Collins Street Bakery 10, right there on the counter in one of the shots, so
Oh wow.
we're big time here in
That's right.
Corsicana.
The can is big time.
Highfalutin.
We're getting a little too big for our britches over here in Corsicana.
That's right.
And
That's
other
right.
country slangs.
So yeah, so as a geek, having these films, that were shot here, and then this kind of new resurgence of using Corsicana as filming location. It's awesome. I haven't had a chance to jump in. I could have gone and been a zombie in Fat Ass Zombies, but I'm like, yeah, 10 years
That's
ago
not
I could have stayed up all
Yeah.
night, in zombie makeup downtown, but I don't know if I could handle that today.
Right.
Not
Yeah.
without a nap and
Well, or not unless it's kind of our own project.
Yeah.
I would be totally down for it if, sometime we work on our own project and do that. Totally fine with that. But yeah, I kind of like sleep.
yeah.
Sleep's kind of nice.
Were you suggesting a dreaded cinematic universe?
Dude, I'm down
30
for
years
it.
after the first dreaded?
I'm down for it. I think there's potential for a dreaded prequel where we learn why the vampire had to move from Dallas, what was going on there, and all that, and then even a sequel with what happens after the dreaded and all the events that played out with there. Did Michael Ross get to finish his Dungeons and Dragons game?
I know that's the burning question.
Right.
Michael, did you?
Did you, Michael? I totally did not even realize that you were in that movie.
That could be a side of the cinematic universe.
Right, just them playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, we'll call the prequel not quite as broadly anticipated, or not.
Because no
it's the dreaded. It's not quite the dreaded. It's just not as broadly received or not as warmly received.
Well, so go ahead, Baltimore.
Well, no, I was gonna kind of hop back onto like the geeky, factor of all this.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Battle State and that kind of geeky excitement that Randall brought with that Enterprise. That was kind of
right, because it was kind of like Enterprise.
I see what you did.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
And so that was also fun to kind of watch too, because you get to go all those callbacks to the mall there, and then it's actually pretty interesting design work in regards to like the sets and stuff, which was
again some high school they
like a full bridge, and
I watched that, and you look past the hokiness a bit of it, because it is a bunch of kids doing a their version of Star Trek, and it's like, as much as I always wanted to, I never did.
Right.
As much as we talked about it, as much as I've gone around, I shot a little zombie short, which I'll share with everyone here before Halloween comes up. In Grapevine, but yeah, growing up, always wanted to do that, and I never did. Guy and I used to run around and shot a couple little shorts.
Yes, that's good.
Right, but I mean, the Guy was the only one with a good video camera back then.
That's very
none of us.
Video camera, by the way.
Right.
It's in my personal museum, but yeah, that thing ran off of VHS tapes, and we'd run around and act like idiots around Corsicana, and then we'd pop the tape, stick it in the VCR, and we'd watch what we did, and we were. Yeah, you probably saw us running around a lot in the mid-90s.
Yeah, so Battle State just is a testament to what you can do when you get the people together and they say, yes, let's do it, and you do it.
Yeah.
It's a great creative outlet for for the time.
Yeah.
Especially
and a very, very kind of particular, that late 80s mentality, that late 80s feel that Battle State brought.
Right.
Even in their kind of advanced, plot-wise.
Mm-hmm.
But, there you have.
Yep. A dreaded Battle State crossover.
That's right. And
that where the space vampires come from.
Exactly. There we get this. There's our space vampires.
And then on top of that, we're going to start doing cinematic location tours of all the famous dreaded hotspots.
Oh, right on.
The library.
We'll have a tour bus.
It's time. We're the Southern Hollywood, I think.
We are.
Well, and then Guy, this just popped in my head with the Collins Street Bakery. We could do the breaded.
The breaded, oh yes,
Yes.
victims, all lightly covered in crumbs.
Right.
Just give me a lifetime supply of cherry icebox cookies, and we'll be good.
Right.
Good. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
It's a done deal.
Yeah.
We'll see if we get them to sponsor. You listening, Collins Street?
Yeah.
Give us a call.
Hey, I just gave you a plug.
Nice.
Give me a cookie.
Money.
Where's my cookie?
Where's my
Where
cookie?
is my cookie? I got no cherry icebox cookies in front of me.
I know, it makes me very sad.
No, I'm just sad because I'm thinking I don't have any cherry icebox cookies either.
Yeah, but you're the closest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
got
you're
a
the
lot
closest
of
one.
You
though.
have no
Oh yeah, I could
choices.
go.
My tears, they weep.
Yeah.
But
You can
yeah,
send them a pair of my address.
Yeah, should maybe we should post our address or besides our PO box.
Yeah.
Got a Patreon currency
You're not gonna
and
get me.
cookies. No. This is our cookie level tier. Anybody send us cookies every month.
Yeah.
Oh, so we'll have the orange tier as well.
We'll all get too fat to fit in our little boxes. We'll just get paid in cookies and orange dip.
There are worse things.
We can do a wintertime vampire movie called The Sledded.
Rosebud.
Bang motor.
Rose blood. Blood.
Y'all are awfully crazy.
Okay.
So yes, is there anything else about the dreaded or any Corsicana film that we've missed?
Especially
No, I think I covered. I mean, from the research I did, I covered the ones that you didn't have listed in our little primer and all that. So
If you watching know of one that we missed, share it in the comments. Link to the IMDb or to the video itself and share with us, or email us at totalgeeklive@gmail.com, or find us on Facebook and post there, or on Twitter. Man, you can find us. We're out there. There's no reason you can't get a hold of us and share
The love.
of any movie we missed. We'd love to know about it.
To also say thank you to everyone who's given us input and kind of share their stories from any of the filmings and movies that have been shot there. Thank you very much for that.
Very
definitely helping us build a larger story of our geek history of Corsicana.
Yes.
For sure.
yes.
Well, as always, it's all geek to us. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Cookie.